The next Team Go Rocket Takeover event is almost here in Pokemon Go, and in this video I will be going through all of the details for the event. I'll also go through some very useful tips including raid counters for Shadow Mewtwo, and I'll go through which event Pokemon and raids are worth focusing on. The event runs from March 27th at 12 AM until March 31st at 11:59 PM local time. A new special research story will be available from the start of the event. Progressing through this research will get you a Super Rocket Radar which you can use to challenge Giovanni and catch Shadow Groudon. And if you want to know how good Shadow Groudon will be in Pokemon Go, I'll be going through that later on in the video. For the bonuses, Team Go Rocket will be appearing more frequently at Pokestops and in balloons, and you'll be able to use charge TMs to remove frustration from your Shadow Pokemon. Grunts and leaders will be using new Shadow Pokemon for the event, but we won't know what these are until the event starts. There will also be new Shadow Pokemon from the start of the event. We'll have Shadow Pidgey, Darumaka, Gothita, and Solosis. The wild encounters for the event will be Murkrow, Sableye, Purloin, Scraggy, Inkay, and rare encounters will be Zorua, Vullaby, and Dino. For the raids, in 1-star Shadow raids will be Shadow Drowsy, Poliwag, Barboach, and Foongus. In 3-star Shadow raids will be Shadow Hitmontop, Wobbuffet, and Sneasel. And in 5-star Shadow raids will be Shadow Mewtwo on Saturday, March 30th and Sunday, March 31st. Shadow Mewtwo will be replacing Shadow Raikou on these days. Remember, Shadow raids can only be done using in-person orange free raid passes or the premium green battle passes. Remote raid passes will not work for these raids. And if you are wondering which wild and raid Pokemon are worth focusing on, I will be going through this later on in the video. In 12km eggs will be Larvitar, Sandile, which can be shiny for the first time in Pokemon Go, Pawniard, Vullaby, Dino, Pancham, Salandit, and Varoom. Field research rewards will include mysterious components which you can use 6 of to make a Rocket Radar to fight a Team Go Rocket leader. You'll also get charge TMs, fast TMs, and encounters with event-themed Pokemon. There will also be a free timed research available which will reward items and encounters with event-themed Pokemon. And there'll be some Pokestop showcases to keep an eye out for. You do also have the option to purchase a $2 timed research that will get you 6 mysterious components, 1 super incubator, 1 rocket radar, and an encounter with Pawniard. There will be a $10 web store bundle that will get you 7 rocket radars, 7 premium battle passes, 7 ultra balls, and 7 silver pinap berries. There will be an event bundle in the in-game shop as well for 300 poker coins, and it'll get you 1 incubator, 1 rocket radar, and 1 premium battle pass. A new Pokeball throw avatar pose will also be available in the in-game shop. So that's it for the details. Let's go through some tips to help you make the most of the event. Firstly, is the $2 ticket or any of the bundles actually worth buying? So for the ticket, I would say it's only worth purchasing if you're looking to save some time by purchasing rocket radars instead of beating 6 grunts to get a rocket radar. You do also get an encounter with Pawniard, which is only in the 12km egg pool at the moment, so this will be a good time to get a guaranteed encounter with it. For the web store bundle, again, I would only say it's worth picking up if you want the rocket radars, because the only other premium items you get are 7 raid passes, and generally I wouldn't buy this bundle for raid passes because you'll probably get a better deal on another raid pass bundle. The Team Go Rocket box in the in-game shop is only worth picking up if you were going to buy these items anyway, because they would cost an extra 150 poker coins outside of this bundle. So you will be able to remove frustration from your Shadow Pokemon during this event, and to do this you have to use a charge TM from your item bag and then search out a Pokemon you want to remove frustration from. I recommend checking the Pokemon that you want to remove frustration from before the event and then tag them all to remove them when the event goes live. It's worth noting that you can search out all of your Pokemon that have frustration by searching at frustration in the search bar. But how do you get the charge TMs that you use to remove frustration? So you can get charge TMs from Go Battle League win rewards, from showcases, rewards from raids, event field research, from trainer battles, and they are sometimes in shop bundles. However, if you don't have many charge TMs, which Pokemon should you remove frustration from as a priority? Firstly, I would recommend removing frustration from any Shadow Legendary Pokemon you have, like Groudon, Kyogre, Raikou, Mewtwo, Lugia, and Ho-Oh, etc. I would also make sure to go after non-legendary raid attackers like Shadow Metagross, Garchomp, Gardevoir, Salamence, Machamp, etc. And if you play PvP, you could also go for Pokemon like Swampert, Gligar, Quagsire, Feraligatr, Poliwrath, and Pidgeot, amongst others. Also, if you are looking to get a Shadow Salamence with legacy move Outrage, I recommend removing frustration from your Shadow Bagon during this event and then waiting to evolve it on April 7th between 2 PM and 5 PM when Bagon Community Day Classic is taking place, because you will get Outrage through evolution up to Salamence during this event. So with that said, we do have a new Shadow Legendary Pokemon debuting during this event, which is Shadow Groudon, but how good will it be in Pokemon Go, and is it worth using a Super Rocket Radar to get it? So I do recommend getting Shadow Groudon because it will be the 3rd best ground type attacker and number 2 in terms of DPS. In the Go Battle League, it will be ranked 21 in the Master League as well. It's good to know that as a raid attacker, it does want legacy move Precipice Blades to be at its best, and in the Master League, it wants both legacy moves, Precipice Blades and Fire Punch. For raid attacking, I do recommend spending the Elite Charge TM to get Precipice Blades, but if you are using it for the Master League only, I would recommend saving your elite TMs and using them on a regular Groudon, which is ranked higher at 7 in the Master League. So Shiny Sandile will be releasing for the first time in Pokemon Go, and it's only available in 12km eggs. You can get 12km eggs by defeating a Team Go Rocket leader when you have an empty egg slot. But are these eggs worth hatching during this event? So the highlights of the egg pool are as follows. You can get Larvitar, and Mega Tyranitar is the best dark type raid attacker in the game, and it's a strong rock type attacker as well. Tyranitar is also ranked 94 in the Master League. Pawniard is a possible hatch, but Bisharp doesn't have any meta relevance currently, but it will have a new evolution, King Gambit, coming to the game at some point in the future, which will be better. Vullaby is also in these eggs, and its evolution Mandibuzz is a strong Pokemon in Go Battle League, being ranked 12 in the Great League with 0, 13, 15 IVs, and is ranked 9 in the Ultra League with 15, 15, 15 IVs. For a Great League Mandibuzz, I recommend trying to catch Vullaby in the wild where there is no IV floor, and for the Ultra League, the 10, 10, 10 IV floor from eggs will make it more likely to be a hundo. Dino is another good hatch because Hydreigon is a top dark type attacker and is ranked 40 in the Master League. It's also worth noting that the middle evolution Zweilous is ranked 35 in the Great League with 0, 15, 15 IVs, but it's probably a good idea to wait and get a Dino in the wild to get IVs that are more along these lines. Otherwise, you could mirror trade to try and get a Dino with a lower attack IV. And as I mentioned before, you can get Sandile, and Crocodile doesn't have any meta relevance at the moment, but if you are hunting the shiny, it's worth hatching these eggs for that. And if you do decide to hatch some 12km eggs because of these reasons, it will also benefit you in terms of XP and Stardust, because being the longest distance egg, it does give you the highest amount of XP and Stardust when hatched. It's also worth doing any Pokestop showcases that you see during the event, because even if you don't rank highly, you will get some XP and Stardust, and if you do happen to rank highly, you could get some premium items. It's also worth trying to win showcases so you can get your showcases Star Platinum medal that will reward you with a PhD Pikachu, and this is the only way to encounter it currently in the game. When it comes to maximizing candy for this event, you can always use peanut berries to increase your candy gains, and you can Mega Evolve a Pokemon that is the same type as the Pokemon you're catching to increase the amount of candy, Candy XL, and XP you get per catch. With most of the Pokemon spawning during this event being dark type, I recommend Mega Evolving Gyarados, Houndoom, Tyranitar, Sableye, or Absol. Remember to Mega Evolve a Pokemon that is at max Mega level so you get more candy and XP bonuses. So you do need 35 Platinum medals for the level 49 requirements, and with all of the dark type spawning, it's a good time to work on your Platinum Delinquent medal. And as Team Go Rocket will be appearing more frequently, it's a good time to work on your Platinum Hero and Purifier medals as well. And if there are some raid bosses during this event you haven't beaten before, it might be worth doing so to get your Platinum Rising Star medal. And with Shadow Mewtwo being available, which is one of the best Pokemon in the game, I recommend raiding as many of these as you can. This will also help you with your Champion and Battle Legend Platinum medals. With that said, what are the best counters for Shadow Mewtwo? So Shadow Mewtwo will have a raid CP of 54,148, and the 100% IVs will be 2387 and 2984 boosted in windy weather. It is a psychic type, so it's weak to bug, ghost, and dark type attacks. The best mega counters will be Tyranitar, Gengar, Banette, Houndoom, Gyarados, and Absol. The best shadow counters will be Tyranitar, Chandelure, Mewtwo, Weavile, Houndoom, and Gengar. For legendary and mythical counters, you could use Giratina Origin, Darkrai, and Hooper, and some budget options are Hydreigon, Tyranitar, Chandelure, Hisuian Typhlosion, Weavile, and Vikavolt. So at around 60% health, Shadow Mewtwo will enrage, increasing its attack, and it will be able to take more damage. Therefore, I highly recommend using Purified Gems to subdue the raid boss as soon as it enrages. You need a total of 8 Purified Gems used across the raid team to subdue the Pokemon. It requires 4 Shadow Shards to make 1 Purified Gem, so it's worth fighting Team Go Rocket leaders, Grunts, Giovanni, and lower tier Shadow raids before the weekend to stock up on your Purified Gems, which you can only hold 10 of at a time. So if you do subdue Mewtwo straight away, it will take around 4 or more trainers to beat, but if you don't subdue it, it could take up to 7 or 8 trainers to beat, depending on the counters you have. As these are in person only, if you can't find people to raid with, I recommend trying local Discords and Facebook groups to see if you can meet with a raid team. So now you know how to beat Shadow Mewtwo, but is it worth your raid passes? So this Pokemon is definitely worth raiding if you can do it. Shadow Mewtwo currently has the second highest DPS in the game. It is the best psychic type attacker with its best moveset Confusion and Psystrike, and it's generally really strong as an ice type attacker with Ice Beam, a ghost type attacker with Shadow Ball, and an electric type attacker with Thunderbolt. In Go Battle League, it is one of the best Pokemon in the Master League, being ranked 13, but it does want both legacy moves, Psystrike and Shadow Ball, to be at its best, which will both require an elite charge TM to get. It's also worth noting that Mewtwo does have 2 Mega Forms coming in the future that will be even stronger than Shadow Mewtwo. With that said, which event Pokemon are worth catching during this event? So Murkrow is available, and it could be worth getting some candy for Shadow Honchkrow because it is a top 10 flying type attacker. Scraggy is a good encounter because Scrafty is ranked 43 in the Great League with 0, 8, 15 IVs, and it is ranked 49 in the Ultra League with 9, 15, 15 IVs. Zorua will be available, and Zoroark is a decent budget dark type raid attacker. Vullaby is worth going for because of Mandibuzz's meta relevance that I mentioned before, and in particular in the Great League it wants 0, 13, 15 IVs, so a great time to get this IV spread or something similar with there being no IV floor in the wild. And like I mentioned previously, Dino is worth going after because Hydreigon is a top dark type attacker and relevant in the Master League. We do also have some new Shadow Pokemon available from the start of the event, and Shadow Darumaka in particular will be worth going after because Shadow Darmanitan will be one of the best fire type attackers. We also get Shadow Pidgey, and Shadow Pidgeot is ranked 49 in the Great League and ranked 13 in the Ultra League. So what about the Shadow raid bosses? Which of these are worth your raid passes? So Shadow Poliwag is available, and Shadow Poliwrath is relevant in both the Great League and the Ultra League, but it does want 0, 14, 15 and 0, 14, 14 IVs respectively to be at its best. With the 666 IV floors of raids, it might be worth waiting and trying to get a Shadow Poliwag from grunts or leaders when it's available instead. Either way, it's still usable without the perfect PvP IVs, so you could still raid it and use it in Go Battle League. For the same reason, it might be worth going for Shadow Barboach from grunts when available because Shadow Wishcash is ranked 17 in the Great League with 0, 14, 13 IVs. So Shadow Fungus is also in raids, and it does give boosted Stardust when caught, probably not worth using your raid passes on. Shadow Hitmontop is available in 3-star Shadow raids, and it is ranked 61 in the Great League with 0, 14, 15 IVs, and it is ranked 91 in the Ultra League with 15, 15, 15 IVs. Shadow Wobbuffet could be worth going after because Purified Wobbuffet is ranked 69 in the Great League with 15, 15, 15 IVs. And Shadow Sneasel is also in 3-star Shadow raids, and it could be worth going after because Shadow Weavile is one of the best Ice-type raid attackers in the game. As I mentioned before, Shadow Mewtwo is definitely worth raiding, and it should be your priority for raid passes during this event because it is one of the best raid attackers in the game and one of the best in the Master League. So if you found this video useful, you should check out these videos next.